Hello again, Unlock Your Potential Family. If you're here, it's because you are left wanting more after reflecting on stress and illusion of control in the first part of this video. If you haven't seen part 1, I recommend watching it first to get the full context.
As we promised, in this video we'll give you practical keys to discover how to lead a more balanced life. But first, let's revisit the question we left hanging. How can we stop being CEOs of the universe and start maintaining calm in the midst of the storm?
Well, one of the fundamental and simple premises we can give you today is laugh a lot, and rise above. Take life as it comes, relaxly, listen to your body, and above all, be true to yourself. Listen to that inner voice we all have that tells us quite sensible things. And if I'm true to myself, stress is greatly minimized. Another simple premise is live in the here and now. Let go of worries. Don't become an expert in solving problems that don't exist. Focus only on problems that do exist. And in this way, you'll reduce part of your stress.
And finally, a habit we're going to gift you today is a habit to make stress disappear. It's the habit Stephen Covey calls the habit of sharpening the saw. What's it about? Imagine you have to cut down a tree, but first you have to sharpen the saw. Sometimes we live stressed because we're continuously swinging the axe at the tree, and we don't even stop to sharpen the axe, let alone the saw. We probably don't even realize we can use it.
It's proven that the paths where a state of stress can lead us may have no end, from anxiety, discouragement, anguish, and depression itself. And all this with very negative effects, not only for our mental and emotional health, but also physical. Today, modern medicine, and more specifically neurosciences, account for all of this, how our organism is interconnected.
Before continuing, we want to ask you, are you finding these tips useful? Do you identify with what we're sharing? Your opinion is very important to us. Leave us your comments and tell us about your experiences. What strategies do you use to manage stress? Is there a specific topic you'd like us to talk about in the future? Share your ideas and don't forget to give us a like if you're enjoying the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. And now let's go with 3 key recommendations. Relax and don't try to control every aspect of your life. You're not really the CEO of the universe.
Take time and space to stop and reflect on yourself, your life, and to determine as clearly as possible what your priorities are. I know you'll say, but I don't have time. I'm running from here to there. I got up at 7 a.m. to go to work. I return at 6 p.m. I go shopping, prepare food, take care of the kids. Well, the famous "I don't have time" is deep down an excuse because we have a lot of time. What happens is that we're too scattered and distracted by a series of objectives that often aren't even ours. Many times we're living someone else's life. We're very reactive and we feel like a tsunami comes every day and sweeps us away.
Think about this point. What do you do daily that's so obvious you not only don't realize you're doing it, but you don't value it? And it's not a riddle, it's just an invitation to think for a second and reflect. Do this exercise. Cover your mouth and nose at the same time for 5 minutes. It's clear what happens, right? Yes, you can't breathe. Exactly. And this is the answer to the initial question. What we do daily, since we're born, is breathe. Now, do we really know how to breathe, or is it just a mechanical activity that, being so obvious, we don't consider?
Notice that not only millennial disciplines like yoga or meditation practices have shed light on the importance of breathing and good breathing, but even medicine is irrefutable evidence of how breathing and the way we inhale air, retain it in our body, and then exhale it. That is, this process has direct consequences on our organism. Learning to breathe. What causes us the most stress are our own thoughts. So breathing techniques disconnect our attention from those thoughts. Precisely by focusing our attention on something physical, for example, our breathing, and concentrating our attention.
And we're talking about abdominal breathing. What's this? That is, the area below the belly or above the belt. In principle, simply start breathing, focusing our attention on the abdomen for 5 minutes. You don't need to light any candle or dress up as a Tibetan Lama. All you have to do is give yourself 5 minutes of your life for yourself. Sit in a place where you feel comfortable and just breathe, but trying to focus on taking air with the abdominal area and then releasing it slowly. Just 5 minutes. Does it seem like such an impossible task to perform? To manage stress sustainably in the medium and long term, it's of vital importance, and the word vital is never better said. To first be aware of the importance of breathing, and second, to know how to exercise that activity. Yes, that of breathing, the one we all do from the moment we come into this world and until we leave it.
Let's take a common situation that leads us to negative stress levels. Our boss presents us with a situation that we consider unfair and it outrages us. Before assessing whether this is really the case, because it may or may not be, perhaps what our boss is proposing is justified and correct. But beyond this, if we can't oxygenate our brain correctly, we can hardly assess a situation. The first thing that arises is a reactive principle, consisting of three possibilities: paralysis, flight, or attack. This is an anthropological principle. That is, it comes with our own human condition. Now, if we train that reactive principle, and training means that something we consciously occupy ourselves with doing, not reactively, but proactively, we can manage that ancestral impulse. And at that moment, when we feel overwhelmed by the tsunami of anger, annoyance, bewilderment, indignation, we just stop for 5 minutes, even if we retreat to a bathroom or the first quiet place we can reach, and do that conscious breathing exercise. The centers of creativity, the brain's reward centers, the way our neurons will synapse, that is, connect with each other, will promote that not only what we feel, but what we think, and above all, the way we will act in the face of that negative. Stimulus will be more assertive, and probably those 5 minutes will have served as a firewall for situations that no one would want. Have no doubt about that.
And we were talking about the importance of training. But how exactly would this be? Well, it's about practicing these techniques with some regularity. And what does regularity mean? Well, it means that we incorporate them as a routine. Let's say you start by allocating 5 minutes a day the first week, then you move to 10 minutes the second week. And maybe, if you really have consistency, you can allocate 30 minutes a day to exercise conscious, proactive breathing, which helps you manage not only your way of breathing, but your emotions, what you feel, what you think, and to value and have control of your life. And not leave it up to what happens, but to the way you decide to manage what happens to you. How much time do you estimate you spend each day focusing your thoughts on things that happened and that you can no longer remedy?
How much time do you spend each day thinking about situations that distress you, that have not actually occurred yet, that which you call worrying? Asked another way, how much of your existence do you spend putting all your emotional and even physical energy into situations that didn't and won't depend on you? Mr. CEO of the universe, do you know what the word responsibility means? It means having the capacity to respond. Those beliefs that end up crushing us in our daily life and in our life have led us to think that being responsible is taking care of everything, solving all problems past and future, our own and others, also having control of all behaviors of all those around us, and giving exact answers to everything that happens. Don't you think that sounds more like a disproportionate ego than responsibility? We're not suggesting here that you be a person who laughs all day, who thinks everything is trivial, and who is moved by nothing. No, quite the contrary. We are telling you, inviting you, to be able to have a full existence, which first admits that we're not perfect, but that we are perfectible people. That is, that we are building ourselves along the way.
And what are we building along the way? We build our own way of valuing ourselves in life. We build the bonds and relationships with the people around us, because it's clear that we don't live on an island far from the madding crowd. We have to coexist not only in society, but coexist with emotions, with feelings, with the requirements of others. And in others are mainly included all those people who love you and whom you say you love. So, the fundamental question would be, do you want to be a person who spends their existence only on having material objects, on controlling everything that happens to you? And as this is simply impossible, the times that life shows you how it is, giving yourself to hopelessness, or to a scale of stress that can indeed lead to worse evils.
The phrase memento mori has its roots in ancient Roman tradition. When Roman generals returned victorious from battle, they were celebrated in the public square by thousands of people cheering Ave Caesar. The generals wore their official attire, including a purple cape and a plumed hat, riding in a chariot pulled by 4 white horses. Behind the general, on a lower step of the chariot, stood the lowest-ranking officer of his army, whose duty was to whisper memento mori in the general's ear, meaning remember that you are mortal. This tradition highlights one of the fundamental paradigms of human existence, the inevitability of death for everyone. It serves as a reminder of our mortality and the fleeting nature of life.
Benjamin Disraeli, who served as Prime Minister to Queen Victoria of England and was a prominent philosopher and thinker of the Victorian era, famously said, "Life is too short to be little." This quote emphasizes the importance of making the most of our limited time on Earth. The video discusses stress but fundamentally addresses what leads us to situations of loss of control that affect us in all aspects of life. Beyond techniques and tools for overcoming adversity, it's about where each of us stands in life. We can either surrender ourselves like a cork to the sea, believing we can control everything, or take a proactive attitude that makes us feel, think, and act as if life is something we should honor and value.
The content encourages viewers to share their thoughts and experiences about what they value in their existence. It also reminds them to like the video and subscribe to the channel, emphasizing that the creators don't claim perfection or to have all the answers. Instead, they aim to improve daily, give their best, learn, unlearn when necessary, and relearn. The goal is to have enough clarity so that this lifetime is not in vain. The video concludes by expressing confidence that the viewers are not among those who think life is something to neglect. It encourages them to strive for self-improvement and a fuller life, offering support through the channel's content. The final question, "And you, what will you do?" challenges viewers to reflect on their own approach to life and personal growth.